Do you miss eating chicken and waffles or French toast because you say they got too much carbs and not enough protein? Well, if that's you, you're in luck because in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the best high protein chicken and waffles and French toast recipe that you have ever had. Stay tuned. Hey, good people, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Belinda J, just your average 55-year-old perimenopausal woman who set out on a journey to lose that peri belly and was able to do so in fairly a short period of time by adopting a high-protein diet lifestyle and making food swaps. Now, this is the third installment of high-protein breakfast ideas that I'm making. I have two others to go. If you missed part 1 and part 2, then I'll link it up top here as well as put it in the description box. And in today's video is all about the kind of pancakey breakfasts that we love, but we know that they are high in carbs, high in sugar, and low in protein. But honey, I got some recipes for you that's going to turn all of that around so that you'll be able to indulge in those chicken and waffles and French toast delights. So without further ado, let's just dive right on in. So the first breakfast idea that I have for you when it comes to the pancake category is just going to be some chicken and waffles. Now, this is a pancake mix that's in my household. I don't use this. I'm gluten intolerant, so I make my own. But in this particular pancake mix, we're only going to be getting about 4 grams of protein. So in order to make the batter for your chicken and waffles, you can either use whatever pancake mix that you have. You don't have to go out and buy anything fancy if you already have it, or you can buy a pancake mix that has protein in it. Now, this particular one does not. So if I were going to be using this brand, then what I would probably do is either use some type of protein, which is, this is what I have. I get a lot of questions about this particular tub of protein. It is 32 ounces. It comes from this grocery store called Wegmans. I live in Northern Virginia, and it's a local grocery store. And I generally spend no more than $30, $35 on my tubs, and I try to get one that has at least about 32 ounces of product in it. I like this particular one because I can read all of the ingredients. It has 20 grams of protein in it, so this is one that I use. Another one that I get asked about is from Sprouts. If you have a Sprouts grocery store near you, they have a really good one as well. This tub is 33 ounces. It comes in, I think, caramel, strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, and the ingredients on this is pretty clean as well. You can read and pronounce all of those ingredients. So if I were going to be using this, just a plain pancake mix, then I would choose a different protein add-in. You can always, of course, use your collagen to add 20 grams of protein into it. Another thing that you could do is you could up your protein. If you don't want to use any of the, protein powders, you can always use a filtered milk. Even though this here just says add water, you can always add a filtered milk, and this is 14 grams per cup. If you don't want to use the filtered milk, then throw in an egg, even though it's already a complete pancake, or you could use some Greek yogurt instead of using water. So these are all the different kinds of additions that you could add to your pancake mix in order to get a high protein waffle. Now, I also use this quite a bit. It's a protein powder, but it's unflavored. So it gives you 25 grams of protein. And this is a whey protein powder, whereas the other ones that I use are pretty much plant-based. But since I'm gluten intolerant, I'm going to be making my own pancake batter or waffle batter by using a gluten-free flour. And then I am going to be mixing in my egg, my milk, some protein powder, and all of my other flavoring season, cinnamon, vanilla, allspice, and so forth. So this is how we're going to be able to add upwards of 20 more grams of protein into the waffle, because it already has, like I said, this one already has 4. And let me see, I don't think this has much protein. This only has 2. So I'm probably going to round out with about 30 grams of protein just on the waffle alone. So now let's go and talk about the chicken. So, of course, you can always use fresh chicken, but as you can see here, mine is frozen. So I'm going to have to find another way. But I just took this out just to point out the fact that 4 ounces of a chicken breast is going to give you about 25 grams of protein. So you can easily see that with the 20 to 25, maybe even 30 grams in the waffle, that 4 ounces of chicken breast, if you made, your chicken from scratch, is going to give you like 50 grams of protein. But I don't have time for that. If I wanted that whole fried chicken kind of, flavor to go with my chicken and waffles, then this is the brand that I use, Just Bare. This is not a paid sponsorship. I'm just sharing with you what I eat. In this bag, you can see here we have 2 pieces and we do have 17 grams of protein. And the only downside to this is the sodium is kind of high. So if I know that I'm going to be eating some of these chicken strips, then I definitely monitor my intake a little bit closer. But the ingredients here are pretty clean when it comes to this particular chicken strip. This is what I'm going to be using today. Is I have a can of chicken breast. Now it says the serving size is 2 ounces. I'm going to eat the whole can. That's going to be 6 ounces. And that still is only going to give me 180 calories, but it's going to give me almost 40 grams of protein. So by the time I eat this chicken and waffle, I may be up to 70 grams of protein just off of this one meal alone. So these are just some of the options that you can consider whenever you're making your chicken and waffles. And like I said, I'm going to be using this. So let's get cracking. So I'm starting off with 1/3 of my gluten-free flour. Now, for those of you who are using pancake mix and you're just going to follow the instructions on your pancake batter, 1 scoop of vanilla protein, all the cinnamon that I love, allspice, nutmeg, some more vanilla. Oop, I just have just a little bit of that. Egg. It's just a little serving of collagen in there. And some milk. If you are new to a fat loss journey and don't know where to begin, then definitely look in the description box for your free copy of the Fat Loss Quick Start Guide that'll help get you going. My waffle batter is made, so now I've taken the chicken out of the can and rinsed it off, and I'm going to just mash this down. So you may be wondering, like, well, why did you choose to use canned chicken? I'm going to put the chicken in the waffle maker with the batter so that it can kind of merge all the flavors together. And if you want this, using the canned chicken is really going to make to-go waffles much easier. Like, for example, you could do batch. You can make this in batches and freeze it. And then whenever you want to take it to work, you could just grab it out. And if your work has a toaster, then you could just plop it in the toaster. This is some salt-free dash flavorful chicken seasoning. So I'm adding that along with some garlic powder and just going to give it a little whirl. But if you're on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday, and you want to make the home style, fried chicken, then go ahead and do that. One thing that you may be thinking is, gosh, Belinda, on that Just Bare chicken, it has 780 grams of sodium. But if you take a moment to look at the seasoning salt that you're using, like the Tony what is it, Zacharon, Cajun, or Lowry's. It's just telling you to use a quarter of a teaspoon, and you know you be shaking more than that. So we just have to watch the intake. I think I want a little bit more. And this will wrap up my chicken prep. And I'm going to get out my big dog waffle maker. And we're going to put these in, put that batter on, honey, and get these chicken and waffles done. Can you smell that? Smell it. You smell it. Smells so good. So my waffle maker is ready. I'm just going to spray it a little bit. And I'm just going to put some of this chicken in here like this. Spread it out. And like I said, we can make some and freeze some. So I'm just going to put it in like this. And then next, I'm trying to do this way so I don't block the camera. I'm going to put in my waffle batter. Well, I'm going to have to come this way. I hope that it still shows you what I'm doing here. So we're going to put all this in here like this. Now, I'm not able to eat all of that chicken, so it's probably half. So that'll take some out of my protein, but this should be enough. You see that? Spread it out like that. And then I'm just going to put the lid down, baby. Flip that and let her cook. She ready. Ta-da! Look how pretty that is. Look at that. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Ooh, it's going to be so good. So here's the chicken and waffle triangle. If you don't want to eat them all in one sitting, get your food sealer, put it in the freezer. But honey, these right here, who can have chicken and waffle? Who? Sound like an owl. Who? These things, I'm telling you, this high protein lifestyle is not about simply just eating meat and not eating any carbs. It's about finding ways to incorporate protein in every meal. If you don't eat eggs, then don't eat eggs. Use plant-based eggs if you are putting them in your batters and so forth. But this right here is definitely a go-to for those of you who are in the workplace, surrounded by all kinds of fast food. Or maybe your building does have a cafe, but they don't have any good breakfast options. Like I said, put this in your food sealer, freeze it. When you're ready for it, you just take it out and keep it moving. So comment below and let me know if you're going to be making chicken and waffles. And one thing I do want to say, don't go messing up the whole chicken and waffle by deep frying your chicken, okay? You can still use your avocado oils, your olive oils, and lightly fry. Not the deep fry, but lightly fry. So if you found this recipe helpful, then definitely consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the information. Or if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is just click on the join on my homepage and look at the different perks of each level. So while I finish eating up this little waffle here, honey, you go in and watch how to make them French toast. So let's make some French toast. And I know what you're thinking. Most times French toast is just some kind of bread and then it's dipped into the batter. But we're going to be making our own bread batter kind of combo. And these are going to be my flour of choice because I'm running a little low on almond meal. I'm running a little low on chickpea flour, and I have a whole lot of oatmeal. So if you're on your fat loss journey, I would highly recommend that these become your staples. It doesn't necessarily have to be these brands, but having these types of flour in your pantry allows you to be able to make these dishes on the fly and not really worry about, oh, I don't have this kind of bread or that kind of bread. Because, honey, you can make your own. Almond flour is 5 grams of protein. It is a little bit higher in calories than the chickpea, but it also has 5 grams of protein per fourth cup, as well as the oat. So if you want to make your own oat flour, all you have to do is just put it in a blender and grind it up. But this is going to be our flour base. So the other staple or the high protein item that's going to be in our French toast is going to be cottage cheese. We're going to be using cottage cheese. I have an egg. I'm going to add some egg whites to kind of give it the fluff. If we want to go, you know me, I always like to add more protein. Then we have our protein here in the back, as well as collagen if you wanted to add that as well. Sweeteners. After the fact, I do have some sugar-free syrup that I may pour on my French toast. If you want to add some sweetener to your batter, maple syrup is always a good choice. I do have some coconut sugar here, and then a no-calorie sweetener, some stevia. And then, of course, my favorite, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and vanilla. So let's get all of this in a bowl. And well, it's not really going to be in a bowl because we're going to be combining all the ingredients and blending them up. So it's not a whole lot of stirring. So let me get my little mini food processor. First up is 3/4 cup of cottage cheese. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of my almond meal. It's like I had more of that than my chickpea. 1 egg and 1 serving of egg whites. Now, a serving of egg whites is, what is that? 3 tablespoons. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of the egg whites. I think I went over, so I'm just going to leave it right there just to help it be a little bit more fluffy. 1 scoop of collagen adds 5 grams of protein. I have a 1/2 scoop of protein powder. Now, with the protein powder, it does have a little bit of sugar, so I'm not going to be adding too much more. You know how I am about not adding a whole lot of sugar. Putting in some nutmeg here, cinnamon, vanilla, and some allspice. Now, this is just for inspiration. I want you to put in what you like, not necessarily following what I like. Now, for those that measure, what I put in there is probably about a 1/2 of a teaspoon. So just keep that in mind for the ladies that don't measure. You know how we do. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And then I am going to add 2 teaspoons of my 0-calorie sweetener. Let's give it a whirl. If you think your batter is a little too thick, then I'm just going to add in just a little bit of milk. So this is what it looks like. Really, really creamy French toast batter. So now we're just going to pour our batter in this little parchment lined dish and put it in the oven. One thing I do want to say, let me see if I can get this so that my hands are not all in there we go, is that, ladies, stop stressing about a damn carb. If it's a good carb, all of the things that we make over here on this channel is I try to make it as clean as possible. And sometimes, no, we cannot get 100% clean, but we are getting at least 75% or more cleaner than we were before. Progress over perfection. Stop stressing. And there you go. That's your batter. Going in 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. So this has been cooling, and this is now our French toast. And you can cut this any way that you would like. I'm going to be cutting mine so that it's more like French toast sticks. And then, like I said before, you can always freeze the rest. So we're just going to cut this into French toast sticks. And then we're going to batter it and put it in the frying pan. So next, I'm just going to take 2 eggs and whisk them in this dish. And this is going to be sort of like our egg wash. And then I'm going to top them with a little bit of this coconut sugar and cinnamon. Now you can do this any way that you want to. I'm going to do mine this way. And just keep in mind, these videos are for inspirational purposes only. You don't have to do it exactly like me. Now, I'm just being very mindful of the amount of sugar that I put on here. Whip this over in this egg wash. Oh, it's falling apart. But that's okay. It's still going to be good. And probably need to get a spoon now that my hands are a little moist here. You can add brown sugar, no sweetness sugar, whatever you like. Now I have some Irish butter that I'm putting in here. I'm not going to drown the French toast sticks in a pan of butter or oil. I think this is probably going to be just enough. Now some of you may be saying, well, French toast is not that healthy. But honey, the way when we do it this way is healthier. Healthier is what we're going for. Remember, progress over perfection. Look, if y'all don't get in here and look at this French toast, it just split in half, but it's gonna work. It's still gonna work, honey. Let me batter the rest. Let's turn it into an egg, but anywho, here we go. For me, I go crazy over cinnamon. You can never, well, I guess you probably can OD on nutmeg, cinnamon, and allspice, but I have never. So I always just add some additional because I just love it so much. And when we put that syrup on there, baby, I can't wait. McDonald's could never. Honey, when I say McDonald's could never, Burger King could never, Wendy's could never, Waffle House could never, IHOP could never make you a high protein French toasted. Look at that. Look at the inside. Look at that. Soft, moist, crunchy on the outside, sweet on the inside, buttery. Woo! I ain't lying. I am not lying. This right here. I'm just salivating everywhere. These things are good. This is another, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I need somebody to go and make it and come back to the comment section and let the people know that this thing right here is the real deal. You can lose that belly by making food swaps. Now, I did have a comment the other day. Somebody asked me that they wanted to see my belly to see if, if I guess I'm living what I'm preaching. If you haven't seen my belly lately, then go back to the post section on my page. And on July 4th, I made a post. No, my belly is not flat, flat, flat. It's never going to be flat, flat, flat. I've never had a flat, flat, flat belly. But guess what, honey? Them biscuits in the can on small. It ain't about what my belly looks like. It's about what your belly looks like. So continue to be consistent. Make food swaps. Stop worrying about how long it's going to take, honey. It's going to take however long it's going to take. And as long as you're living, you're making progress. So that's all I got to say about this video. Video breakfast idea number 4 on deck. It has some surprise guests. You're going to love it. But that's it for this video. I'm going to finish eating this French toast sticks. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing the video. And until the next video, honey, y'all take care.